What's going to happen this time around?
All right, Kelly, I don't view this one as likely to be any different than the ones we've covered before, which is a lot of talk, a lot of noise, a lot of mess, and a last-minute buzzer-beating deal that satisfies pretty much no one. Out of this meeting today, I don't know where the cautious optimism comes from, because there's not going to be any deal. There's not going to be even any negotiation. The White House is just calling it a conversation. Good that they're sitting down. That's a good start. We've got a few weeks to get this done, probably a little bit more than the X date that's out there. But what Republicans put forward, the size of the cuts that would be required in discretionary spending, nowhere close to anything Democrats will ever do. Republicans will not pass a clean debt limit hike. There'll be time to get to that deal. Won't happen today. Will probably happen in the next couple of weeks. We'll all gnash our teeth and we'll get a deal.
Well, and I guess, Andy, it always depends on the markets, right? They force a deal. They tell you when we're kind of, getting to a crisis point. When do you think that listen, I kind of feel bad for Treasury Secretary Yellen, right? She's handed a House to manage and no money to do so. So, of course, she has to come out here and give us these headlines to try to scare everybody into a deal so she doesn't have to keep, as a manager, right? She doesn't have to keep dealing with this. But when do you think the X date really is?
So that's the trillion-dollar question, I might add. Look, I think June 1 is actually the front end of the possible X date, but it can go all the way to August. And the reason it can is because if you get to June 15th, you get a bunch of tax revenues.
Exactly.
You get to June 30th, you have a whole new batch of extraordinary measures, and that gets you to August. But if you don't get to June 15th, that window is real. And that's a very short window.
June 15th is when corporate taxes are due, and that's where you could kind of get a couple months more out of this. What about June 30th? What different things could they start to tap into if we had to?
Yeah, so on June 30th, you have an extra $145 billion that the Treasury is able to move off of and not pay or suspend investments in the Civil Service Retirement and Disability Fund and the Post Office Retirement Health Benefits Fund. So that's $145 billion. That gets you into June, into July, and potentially to August. So that's what the June 30th importance is. So,
I mean, I have to say, in a way, you wonder why we're even talking about this today. Like, sure, Ben, it's May 9th. Yeah. So maybe in the next, 21 days, if I'm doing the math right, the money could run out and maybe we hit the debt ceiling. But if we don't, then we could potentially be talking on May 9th about an issue that's not going to be front and center for markets until August 15th.
Yeah, which reminds me of 2011 when we were doing this and got downgraded while I was on a bus on the way to the Jersey Shore. I was not too happy about my vacation being ruined. But yes, we have more time than we think. Part of the reason we're focused on it now is because of the partisan dynamics. It is a difficult environment, which Speaker McCarthy in the House has a very narrow window to maintain his speakership and get something through that Republicans can support. Doesn't want to put anything through that would be mostly Democrats plus Republicans. So the path to get from where we are to a deal is not easy to see, but the time frame is longer than June 1, and there are other things that can be done, and we could get to prioritization at some point, God willing. We don't. There are other things that can happen before we actually default on existing debt. But it is a little early in the game to freak out, but it is good at this early date to at least see the players in the same room for what one hopes would be like a cordial conversation. The risk is somebody storms out, Republicans get pissed off, then markets could react. Other than that, I expect not much out of it.
And I think the important point to make, and Dan Clifton at Strategas makes this point a lot, Andy, but this isn't just about the debt ceiling. So even if you're sick of hearing about the debt ceiling or think that the fight is stupid, we are going to have these debates over how to manage government spending and austerity for the next couple of years at least. I mean, so Dan Clifton's point is debt servicing costs jumped in April already to almost 13% of tax revenues. Once we hit 14%, we usually start to see that we have to have a response, an austerity response, in other words. I don't know what austerity looks like in the Biden age, but it seems like we have to be aware that high interest rates could probably push us to that point one way or the other.
No, I think you make a good point. I think, to be honest, in the Biden age, in the Biden presidency, I think austerity at the most is kind of capping discretionary spending. I don't see any real major cuts beyond that. So I think, look, the Republicans put out a package that now they're at the table, they can do a deal. I think what this deal is going to come down to is more on the extraneous issues, more like permitting, COVID spending, things like that, which can be the makings of a deal.
And Ben, that's kind of something Peter Orszag talked about this morning when he said, okay, maybe a very narrow discretionary spending cap of some kind. He also said he thought the best of the worst options would be to use the 14th Amendment to raise the debt ceiling, which is why I want to give the larger context. This isn't just about raising the debt ceiling. We're probably going to start to have these fights about spending and austerity every time these kinds of issues come up now. Yeah, that's right. Peter and I talked about this a bit, too. And the 14th Amendment is an interesting one in that it says the full faith and credit of the United States cannot be questioned. Therefore,
possibly supersedes the the act that established the debt ceiling in 1917 during World War I. That's not a road you really want to go down. It's a somewhat less crazy version of minting the platinum coin. It is theoretically possible. Legal scholars argue it, but markets would not like that. Some legal debate going on while we're unsure about whether we can pay our bills. But yes, once we're through completely the COVID period, the inflation period, the Fed rate hiking cycle, that's when we can probably start talking more structurally about some of the discretionary spending problems we have, the entitlement problems we have. Yes, we've been saying we're going to do that for decades and decades, but as you point out, borrowing costs rising mean we will have to do it eventually. But it's just not going to happen now. There's too much else in this economy that's at risk to be talking about austerity or to be flirting with potential default. It is a completely ridiculous thing to do.